Hi folks, my name is Matt Wonk. I have been riding motorcycles for about 10 years now, and I've been a very happy member of BMW's MOA for about 2 years now. I've written a few articles for the magazine, and a recent blog post was about my experience with a few products. One of them was a pair of boots. We are here to review these pair of boots that I am wearing right now. They are the Klim Transition boots. I've had them for about 4 months now, and very pleased overall. Reasons to listen to me on these boots. So I'm here in the outdoors in Great Falls for a reason. Not just because it's pretty, but because I historically wore hiking boots for riding. I never really have had a pair of motorcycle specific riding boots that I wore regularly. In fact, even the majority of time was sneakers or regular shoes of some sort. But when I did long riding, especially BMW style touring on my F650 GS, I wore hiking boots, and that wasn't just because there's some common consistencies there with riding boots, with the level of ankle protection, durability, toe strength, various things that make them not perfect and not the most protective, but good riding boots. But I also like to incorporate hiking into my riding. When I go on longer trips, it's very important to me to find little places I can stop and go on a hike and explore outdoors along the way. So when I decided to actually start looking at motorcycle boots, that was still very much a criteria. I wanted something that I would be comfortable with going on a hike, up a mountain, along a trail, whatever. And very quickly in the research came to find several different boots from Klim. And actually the first pair I looked at was the Outlanders, and that was the first pair that I really wanted. The Outlanders were even discussed in other reviews as good for something to walk around in and hiking, and some of that's not very surprising. I think pretty much Klim is probably best known, at least originally, for snowmobile type activity, which goes a lot more in line with off-road type activity, right? So you want some boots that might be good for walking around in snow, and even maybe dual sport or dirt bike riding in the motorcycle world. But I still felt like they were great options for what would be for me with the majority of highway riding. But then, before I actually pulled the trigger on those, which you should definitely look into those, they have far more protection than these have. And still I think would be good for daily riding, but they're definitely, I think, would be geared more towards that actual off-road enthusiast. So I then found a spam ad on some completely unrelated site that showed a picture of the Transitions, and they definitely had less protection than the Outlanders, but they looked like they would be much more comfortable on a hike, right? All of that extra higher up ankle protection on the Outlanders, I knew would get a little uncomfortable, and maybe even too uncomfortable while actually on hikes, especially a longer one, and heavy too. So I checked these out, and again, they definitely have less protection, right? You're not getting that upper shin, mid-shin level protection or higher. You're still getting a little bit of ankle protection, but I knew that they would make a lot more sense for my style of riding and my style of hiking. Not to mention they're cheaper than the Outlanders. So I picked these up, and I have been incredibly happy with these so far. I've never worn a pair of shoes, running shoes, hiking boots, anything at all while riding a motorcycle that was more comfortable than these. They feel extremely light. It's almost like I can't even tell that I have a shoe on from, you know, a pressure standpoint. At the same time, I feel zero, it's not loose at all. It feels totally tight and secure, without even letting its presence really be known. The durability and the strength is sufficient in the toes, very sufficient for shifting gears, hitting the brake. I have no issues managing controls or feeling controls while still maintaining durability in the shoe. They're incredibly easy to put on and off with this BOA tech, which I will show some close-ups and talk more about some of the tech in these later. But yeah, I really could not recommend these enough. I'm trying to think of any issues I have with them. I don't think I will find any soon. I think the very obvious issue would be if I got into a scenario where I really could have used that extra protection. But I'm well aware of that, right? That's not going to be any kind of surprise, right? It's not going to be any kind of thing where I'm not aware that is a flaw from the very beginning. And then with the BOA tech, which again I'll show close-ups of these later, and it's you can probably at least tell from here there's no laces, right? Which is great. I can actually see that being pretty important, especially in the snowmobile community where laces and snow get clumpy real quick, and I can definitely tell that that's not the case that would happen with these. But it's definitely plastic, and it doesn't seem like weak per se, but I could see these potentially easily snapping or breaking in the right or the wrong scenario. So those are the two main things that I am concerned with or think could be issues, but I'm well aware of those going into it, and it won't necessarily be a surprise. This being motorcycle test kitchen and all, I thought I should film at least some footage in the kitchen, and I thought, why not make that particular footage be where I describe all of the cool technology in the boots that I mentioned before, but did not get into the details on. So I figured we could do that while I make a delicious cup of coffee. So, in addition to the BOA tech, there's a lot of other things, including and that's about it. I mean, it's a lot of stuff, pretty cool, and I think it pretty much speaks for itself. All joking aside, there is a lot of cool stuff and features on these boots. Rather than pretend to be an expert on all of those, since I can't even get the date right, I won't try to get all of the explanations of these features right either. But you can just go on the website, there'll be a link in the description, you can check it all out. All I would do is be kind of repeating what's on the website anyway. Check all that out. I do think though that over the last 4 months of using these boots, I have gained enough expertise on why they call them the Klim transitions. These boots have been amazing, transitioning from riding the motorcycle to going on hikes. You can transition from just about anything, or to just about anything from the bike on these. Grocery store, friend's house, hiking like I've done. Pretty rigorous hiking too in some instances, rock scrambling, other things like that. And these boots have performed extremely well in all of those scenarios. At no point have I ever felt like I'm wearing some kind of weird boot that is making it more difficult to do whatever it is I'm trying to do besides riding a motorcycle. And they've been extremely comfortable in all of those different scenarios that I put them in. That is my review of the Klim Transition GTX boot. Thanks for viewing.